With us now for more is Fritz Ocampo, the Senior Vice President and Chief Investment Officer for BDO Trust and Investment Corporation. Good to see you, Fritz, and welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Kathy.
Yeah, so it's amazing that you pretty much kept your asset allocation unchanged for the rest of this year, at least year to date, amid all the uncertainty that we've faced globally. We've seen Middle East tensions and also the Trump tariff uncertainty. And locally, it's the economy, slowing growth and inflation, or the lack thereof.
Right.
So why didn't you make any move and any change into your asset allocation plan?
Well, the reason for that is we already studied the implications of Trump 2.0 and the ensuing trade war, even in the second half of last year. And our conclusion is that the Philippine market, is not a major exporter to the world, much more to the U.S. economy. And therefore, the market would definitely react to it, and it did after the April Liberation Day announcement. But if you will look at the markets, since that double-digit correction in April, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ has already rallied by close to 28%. To post a positive return again year to date of about 8.7%. And so that shows you that sometimes it's better not to do anything rather than to panic.
Others would consider that bravery or courage. Let's take a look at your asset allocation, because you just mentioned about the rally in global stocks, right? And also that we're not really so affected by the tariffs, that presumably you would have upped your Philippine stock exposure, but that's like 10%. That's twice less than global stocks.
Right. Over the last 7 years, we have slowly reduced our local equity exposure. Back then, it was 30%. And in gradually reducing it, we shifted to global equities. Not necessarily everything in the tech space, but just in global equities in general. And the reason for that was our bearish outlook on the peso, which actually fell by more than 13% over a 5-year period and close to 24% over a 10-year period. So that bolstered our view that we have to diversify away from the peso. And then when given a choice between global fixed income or global equities, we felt that global equities had a higher upside.
But then when we talk about the bond universe, it's 65%. That's a whole lot more than global and Philippine stocks combined.
Right.
How come? In the context of maybe the interest rate differential.
Right.
Now that we're going to hear from Fed Powell at Jackson Hole, and also from the governor himself on August 28th.
Right. The reason for our hefty allocation in the bond space is because our clients in general are looking for consistent, stable returns. So most of our clients would be, retirees, or we manage pension funds. And definitely the liabilities are still in peso because we're based here in the Philippines. But they want, higher returns compared to the money market or a time deposit rate. So that's why we have a heavy allocation in bonds. And during this 2022 to 2024 period in particular, we saw the surge of inflation. And whenever inflation surges, interest rates surge as well. And that's what we saw. And we felt that that was the opportunity to begin to lock in rates for both our pension funds, insurance clients, or even our retail clients. And given now the prospect of further interest rate cuts from the BSP as early as next week, that positioning will definitely help as we end the year, 2025, and as we position for 2026.
Just as a final question, cash. We got to talk about cash. What's with the 5%?
Okay.
It's like you're
Why have 5%?
sort of
Right.
hedging.
There are several reasons for holding a 3 to 5% in cash. One is liquidity. Okay, you'll never know when our clients would need some cash to withdraw, to redeem. That's first. Second is it's our dry powder, just in case we see blips, because of some unfortunate data release, either in the US or the Philippines. Usually the market blips up. And then we can deploy at higher levels.
And the flood control projects and the anomalies, they don't have much of a concern that would change any of your asset allocation?
Not really. Even when you ask the question, okay, do these flood projects affect GDP forecasts for the rest of the year, for the second half of the year? Our answer is no, okay? Simply because corruption has always been part of the environment, unfortunately, okay? The bad news there is that, we're wasting our scarce resources for projects that could have been better funded. Okay? But in terms of, as a fund manager or as a CIO, it doesn't change the scenario that has been built all the way to the end of 2025 and on to 2026.
All right, it's good to keep that in perspective. Steady Eddie. Yes. Asset allocation, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Fritz Ocampo of BDO Trust and Investment Corporation.